I want to thank all the media that's here today. We really appreciate your efforts to come to Grand Forks and to get out to the Alerus Center and open up our fall camp with some coverage, and we appreciate all your efforts throughout the year and look forward to your cooperation and our partnership as we know that you're important to getting our word out and to the public and to all entities. So thank you for that. Got a number of introductions I want to do today. I'm going to introduce administration members that are here, and let's hold our applause till all administrators are introduced. Daniela Earl is here, Senior Women's Administrator. You just kind of raise your hand and wave. Kara Helmig, Director of Compliance. Kendall Byers here from Compliance. Sue Jeno, Faculty Athletic Rep. Eric Martinson, Facilities Director. Alex Croakey, Marketing. I believe that's everybody from the administration. Thanks for coming out today, and we appreciate what you do for UND football. We also have some special people here who volunteer their time during our games and have been doing it for a long, long time. They're our stat crew. Kent Keys, Sue Hafner, and Jim Schotthorst are here. And I think they're very good at what they do, and we appreciate all the hours that you put in to make our game day experience much better. Thank you very much. I want to thank our media relations members out here. I know Ryan does a great job for us, and Jason's here as the director, and Matt is here. You got a big game tonight, softball, right? You can't even focus, can you? But all the media members that are here, thanks a bunch. You got me out of focus now. All right, but thank you to our media relations staff. Do a great job for us. I'd like to introduce Nate Bockel, our Director of Strength and Conditioning. And then we have a group of interns here. Some are returning. Sam King returns for his second season. Markel Pete is in his first year. Brandon Anderson, former player, is in his first year as an intern. Tucker is not here, right? Tucker Norrie is a student that's completing his degree, and he will also help in the football office. But we appreciate what those guys do, and they're putting forth a lot of time and effort to help us be more efficient. Full-time coaches that are here: Luke Knopf, offensive line. Danny Freund, wide receivers. Kevin Maurice, running backs. Jordan Geely, defensive line. Joel Schwensfire, outside linebackers. Travis Steps, defensive back. Carl Reinholtz is our video coordinator. He's unable to attend today. He's back in the office, just getting all that stuff ready, so we're up and rolling for meetings tonight and tomorrow morning. And then our three coordinators, which will come up and speak later, but Shawn Kostich is our tight ends, fullbacks, and our special teams coordinator. Eric Schmidt, defensive coordinator. Paul Rudolph, offensive coordinator. These guys do a great job for UND football. Let's give them a hand. We have 95 in camp. We have the newcomers here, 3 transfers. And that's really our concern as we enter fall camp, about the guys that we have here right now. It's always going to be about us. We talked to our team last night in our first meeting, how important it is that we keep remembering who we are, who we represent, and how we want to play football. We've been in our 3rd year now, and our staff's been able to stay together, and we've had very few changes, which I think is really important, the continuity of the staff. And we know who we want to be on offense. You'll hear it over and over again. We're smart, tough, physical. What we want to be on defense. We want to be relentless at pursuit, great at the fundamentals, tackling, communication. And we got to be really good on the money downs, which are 3rd down, goal line, and those types of things. So that's always the message to our team. The other thing that we really hammer home with our guys. We want guys in our program that just aren't good from 2 to 6 o'clock. We got to have guys that are really good in the community, on campus, how we represent the University of North Dakota and our football program, and how we represent our community and the state of North Dakota is very important to us, and that's part of our mission as well. And we want to do a great job of that, because we have a firm belief that, you know, you win championships and you build a championship football program with good characters. You know, you can win games with good players, but I really believe you just need really, really good people, and need people to be good people day after day if you want to win championships. Day by day, it's on our shirts, a must for us. You know, we don't want to look too far ahead. Right now, we're focusing on practice one. And we think we made progress in the winter, spring, summer. Strength coaches did a great job with our guys this summer. But right now, it's practice one. We don't want to look too far ahead. Depth chart's a starting point for us. We'll have a depth chart, but all jobs are open. We're going to play our best guys. We're going to give new guys opportunities. We're going to give returning guys opportunities. And we hope they take advantage of that. And it's a simple little deal. All jobs are open, and you got to earn your spot. Our practices are open. We hope when you come to watch, you see a lot of effort, enthusiasm, see a lot of good team play. And I'll tell you, I mentioned how much I appreciate our staff. I think those guys are really good teammates. You know, we try to leave our egos at the front door. When we come to work, get out on the practice field, it's got to be the same. We're always going to do what we feel is best for the team and not for the individual. And I'd be willing to bet you'll see that when we're out on the practice field. So that's what I have to say at this point. I know we'll talk about the schedule some, and that's important. I think we got a really challenging schedule. We have a tremendous amount of respect for our first opponent, Stony Brook. You know, we've been studying them a lot. We've studied Bowling Green. We study South Dakota. We study all our conference opponents. We think we have a really demanding, tough, challenging schedule. But at this point, we really, really need to focus on the University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks and what we need to do to get better each and every day. At this time, I'd like Eric Schmidt to come up, and he'll talk about our defense in particular. So here's Eric.
Thanks, Coach Schweigert. I'd like to thank everybody else for coming. The wait's finally over. We get to get on the practice field tomorrow. I know as coaches, we're excited to get an opportunity to teach. It's a chance for us as a program to take another step in the process of getting our program on top of the Big Sky. I'd like to compliment Coach Spacco and his staff as well. I thought our players have done a good job here in the winter, in the spring ball and in the summer, of developing, and our guys look good here as they report to fall camp. Just touching on our roster, I'll go through it position by position, but we'll start off up front at nose guard. It was a big question mark for us a year ago. We didn't have any guys that were returning as far as experience goes, and that's really changed now with our experience and our depth at that position. Tank Harris played some valuable reps a year ago, along with Steve Greer, who's a kid we pulled a red shirt on. So those guys are both now experienced guys that are back. Alec Carruthers is playing the defensive line here at pretty much every spot. He's a program guy. He's a guy that we can use all over the defensive line. He's also going to be playing nose guard, or listed on our depth chart at nose guard. He's started here for 2 years. Nick Schmitz has really developed, a local guy. He played in a number of games as well last year. We think Logan Alm from Hawley, Minnesota, really developed as a redshirt last year. So we really have 5 guys, 5 noses that we'll bring in, and that's really changed from a year ago. 3 of those guys have all played. 4 of those guys have played in games, and 3 of those guys played a lot of reps a year ago. Defensive end is probably the deepest position on our team. There's going to be guys there that traveled for the last 2 years that are going to be battling to get on the plane this year, and that's obviously something that is exciting and that we want. Same thing goes with nose guard. But defensive end, Brandon Dranka, Noah Johnson are listed at the top of our depth chart right now. Both those guys are good, solid players, proven players in our league. Brandon, another guy that's a third-year guy, but he played as a true freshman and played last year as well. Started however many games in a row now. Noah had a really good year last year. He was a little banged up, received some all-conference recognition and stuff like that. So those two guys are really good players. And then Drew Greeley as well. One thing that hurt us a year ago in the middle of the season is Drew got hurt in practice and broke his collarbone. He was starting for us at the time. So we have three guys right there that have all started a number of games for us at defensive end, and then two other guys that played a lot of reps. Austin Cieslak from Hazen, he really had a good breakout year for us. He redshirted 2 years ago, then as a freshman last year, played well and played a lot of reps. And Daquan Baker is a guy that after we lost Drew, we moved to D-line, and he played a lot as well for us. So right there we have five guys that all played meaningful reps. I think they're all over 80 reps on the year last year. And then we really like our three young guys. So they're going to come in here and have an opportunity to be able to compete. We want really good pass rushers. I think that's what those guys bring to the table. Mason Bennett, Carter Wilson, both Canadian kids that redshirted last year, played really well for us. And then Carl Engwall from Lakeville, Minnesota. So we have no new guys coming in the D-line as far as freshmen go at this point right now. But that is the most competitive position on our team. Like I said, we feel like there'll be guys there that have traveled in the past that are really going to have to fight to be able to get on the travel roster this year. Outside linebacker, we had two guys that both started games for us last year. Brian Labatt, another guy that was a second-team all-conference player, and Jake Disserhop, who's played 2 years now for us at the outside position and has been really productive for us. And he had Juwan Johnson in the mix as well, who played safety for us and started games for us a year ago. By about game 7 last year, we moved him to outside linebacker, and he really had a good season there and has developed through the spring. So be a lot of competition between those three guys for reps, but they're the most experienced guys coming back. We really like what Jay Lawrence has done here from Moorhead, Minnesota. He's a guy that's definitely going to be in the mix, be a really good special teams player for us as well. And then Keelan Poole is in that redshirt freshman class, or redshirted last year. And he got hurt practice 2 last year, so he's largely unknown, but we liked what we saw from him last fall. And he's from Denver, Colorado. Two guys that redshirted, Hayden Vogel, Andre Steiger, will be guys now they'll have their opportunity. And Jackson Turner and Ray Haas as well are two redshirt freshmen that, from what I've heard from the summer, those guys have done a good job so far of being athletic and solid in the weight room. Inside backer, it's going to be a little different for us there. It's going to be more by committee. It's like the DN position as far as the number of guys that will play. We think there's 6 guys in there that will all battle for reps. It's just not guys that have maybe played as much as their defensive ends have played. But Connor O'Brien's the captain of our team. He's played a lot of football for us the last 2 years. 2 years ago backing up Will Rattel, and then last year playing both Sam and Will for us. So very smart, very dedicated. Has a lot of respect on our football team. Dylan Bacher came in when Taj Rich got hurt. Played very well for us as well. So he's another guy that's seasoned. We know what we get out of him. He's a guy that day in and day out is really consistent. And then obviously having Taj Rich back as well. Interested to see where he's at as we start fall camp now with being able to rehab his injury over the last 8 or 9 months. Donnell Rogers is a kid that really did a good job in spring ball. He's a kid we think that his development's really important for us as a defense. He has a lot of the tools, the skill level now. It's just a matter of getting him the experience that he needs. Jake Hansen, another guy solid, has worked his way from quarterback to the defensive side and now has an opportunity to be able to help our team. DeJohn Murray transferred from New Mexico Military Academy last year. He's another guy I think to keep your eye on every practice. He gets a little bit more comfortable, and he was a lot better at the end of the spring than he was at the start of the spring. 3 young players there that are all redshirt freshmen. Matt Marler from Minot, Cameron Hunt, and Jake Rastus as well will be in the mix at inside linebacker. For us, where we really got to do a good job of developing some guys is in the secondary. I'll start out at corner. 3 guys that have played football for us there, Tyus Carter, Deion Harris, and Chris Carter. Their development is really important for us. We want to make sure we keep those guys on the right path, keep those guys improving in our league. There's a lot of good quarterbacks and receivers, so you have to be really deep as far as the guys that can cover those guys. So Dion played as a true freshman, started every game last year. Tyus, eventually, he played as a true freshman last year and started the last 7 games. He's coming off a shoulder injury that held him out of spring ball, but his development's really important. And then Chris is another guy that we pulled a shirt on 2 years ago that needs to continue to develop. Garrett Boland has progressed in our program. He came here as a walk-on, and he's a guy too that has made good strides throughout his career here. And then the 2 young guys that'll have an opportunity, like Coach talked about, as far as we're going to play the best players on this year's team are Andre Randolph and Evan Holmes. So those will definitely be 2 guys that we need to bring along here and give an opportunity to. Safety-wise, Cole Reyes, I know he was here earlier. He's probably had the best summer that he's ever had at North Dakota, so that's encouraging. He's a guy that we need to keep on the field. Needs to be a leader of our team. Very vital in what we want to do here. Zach Arnell had a pretty traumatic injury a year ago, so if we can get him back up to where he was a year ago, that would be really key as well for our defense. And we like where Tanner Palmberg's at. He's a tough kid, and that's really what we're about. Bashan Tucker and Charles Flowers are 2 guys that really need to do a good job here. This is an important fall for those 2 guys. And then 3 young guys that we really like are Jake Geyer, or 2 young guys, Jake Geyer and Tim Ryan and Jordan Kennedy are guys that we really feel like, once again, they'll have an opportunity to be able to help us this year. At least one of those guys will. So we're as deep as we've been in the D-line and outside backer. It's a little bit by committee now at inside with Rattel gone. And then there's some opportunities in the secondary. We like our top end guys. They're really good, but we're going to count on some young guys there to be able to come in here and add some depth for us. So any questions at all for me? Thanks.
Thank you, Coach Schmidt. Next up, Paul Rudolph, Offensive Coordinator.
Well, thanks, Coach, and thanks for everybody for coming. I guess I'll just give you a brief overview, but in all honesty, today I kind of sit and feel like most of you, because I'm really excited to get out there tomorrow morning and just see how much progress we've truly made. Football's a little different in the fact that we don't get to spend much time with guys in the summer. We have to tell them what we think they need to do and how we want you to get better and what you got to get better at, and then so on and so forth. Guys come in over the summer and they tell me, Coach, I think you're gonna really like what you see, and I certainly hope that that's the case, because I'm just about as excited as you guys are to see how much progress we've made. And they tell us we're throwing the ball better, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. I guess the strength of our offense, probably depth-wise, it sits in our running back position. John Santiago returning and Brady Oliveira, both had played a lot of football for us and obviously proven that they can be very good football players in the Big Sky. Also, we're excited about seeing what Oscar Neverman can do over the course of a year. He had an opportunity to redshirt after transferring, but has certainly shown the ability to catch the football, has shown the ability to be big and strong and physical, and we're hoping that that's what we continue to see. And then another young man by the name of Austin Gordon, who probably would have started for us a couple years ago, but sits 4th right at the moment. But he's has shown the ability to be a good football player. So that's probably where our strengths sit. With that being said, we've got some solid players in all the other spots, but I think our biggest factor, our biggest key in all those other positions is just to continue to create depth. Where we might have a guy here and there that can do some things, but just creating depth, and it all starts up front. We'll start there, and we feel pretty good about the 2 tackles. They both played. AJ Stockwell's played more than Matt Cox has, but through the spring, both those guys showed the ability that they can get the job done. Finding a 3rd tackle, Bryce Blair, could be a handful of other guys, is really a big step for us here in the next 30 days, is to create that 3rd guy that we feel can go in there and however we got to match it or however we got to mix it in to find that guy. The two guards, we lost a lot of football when we lost a couple guys from a year ago. Dan Bell and Damon Taylor will get the first shot at things. Whether they're still left standing at the end of the spring or at the end of the fall, we'll see. But in the springtime, they showed us that they had the ability to get this thing done and showed us some stability, appear that they can get the job done and do some good things for us at the guard spot. It's kind of the same thing. Adam Steiner, also another guy that progressed, didn't travel with us much last year. Maybe played a snap here and there, but showed some flashes in the spring, and we hope his development continues and he can kind of start to mix into that third spot. We'll see. Brandon Miller is another young man who started a couple games. Actually started one game 2 years ago and a handful of games last year before a shoulder injury cut his season short, and we're certainly hoping that he can pick up where he left off. And if that's the case, then our guard spot starts to show some more depth and starts to show some guys that can really step in there and play. The center spot is probably the position where it's as big a question mark as we got going into the fall, and it'll be the one that we probably have our eye on. We think that this old where you everybody says you throw the kid in that can't play at a center. I just have never bought into that philosophy, nor has Coach Knopf. We think that position is vital. That guy starts everything, and if he can get to dudes in the A gap and get up to backers, and we just see that as a vital position. And Grant Applin and Patrick Rooney kind of split time with us all spring long. Grant played a handful of snaps for us a year ago. Patrick was a red shirt. We hope they continue to progress. He's just probably not right there yet. We'll see. Michael Coe is a young man who is a graduate transferring in, is a guy that we're going to take a strong look at. Whether he becomes a center or whether he becomes our tackle or third tackle, or we'll see. That's going to be something we've got to keep a close look at, and how it plays out will be vital to our development of our football team. But overall, we really believe that can be a good group. Just going to take some practice here, but we think it can be a good group. Tight ends, fullbacks, those guys. We got a handful of guys there that played a lot of football for us. Luke Mathewson, Luke Fiddler, Jacob Francis to start. Those three guys, and we play a lot of tight ends and fullbacks, but those guys have played some football for us, and we solidly believe that they're going to continue to play good football for us. We'll see if Alex Cloyd or Hunter Pinkey can fit into that. They're a little bit different type of tight end than those three guys, and if they can progress and learn, they might have a shot. Fullback, right now that appears to be manned by Kyle Norberg. Many of you remember Kyle. We moved over from linebacker. He became our starting running back a couple years ago, and then still carried the football last year. And may carry it a couple times here and there. He'll always obviously be an emergency guy for us at running back, and he showed that he improved a year ago, but we really liked what we got out of him. He gets to backers, he gets to safeties a little bit faster than everybody else at the fullback spot, and we like what we see there. And then Tyler Coyne was a guy that redshirted and got hurt, we're hoping that Tyler can really move into the right situation there also. You move to the receiver spot, and we've got some guys there that played some football and done some things. Luke Stanley, right off the top. Luke's as Coach Schmidt said, he's a program type of guy. He's just what you look for. He is all of everything of smart, tough, and physical. He understands how to get open. He's tough. He blocks guys. He's an extremely physical guy, and then he's very capable of catching the ball and getting open and doing things with the football. But it kind of revolves around Luke. He's the guy that we can put in a lot of spots. He's the guy that he's just he's your bread and butter. He's your steak and potatoes guy every day. And then after that, Clive Georges was hurt a good majority of the season, but his last 3 games he was awful good for us, catching the football. And we certainly hope that he can have he's a difference maker in some of the things that if he can continue to stay healthy and do all those things, he's a guy that can do some things for us. And then after that, Stetson Carr. Stetson's back after finding out that University of North Dakota football was what he wanted to do. And he's kind of the same type of guy as Luke. Maybe not quite as polished, but a good good program guy that we expect good things from. And then from there, we've got a handful of young guys we're going to see. We've heard good things from the older guys about him. Travis Toivonen, Noah Wanzek. We've heard good things from our old guys, our returning guys. But just as you, we're anxious to see how they progress and how they learn and how fast they develop in the next 30 days to see if they can help us or not. Damon Mercer is another one of those guys that just got here. He's caught footballs in some college football games, and we're hoping that he can come in and learn and help us also down that stretch. Then we moved to quarterback, and if Keaton Studgert has proven that he can win for you. Late in the year, man, he was playing good football, and we hope that he progresses and steps into that thing right from the get-go and picks up right where he left off when we walked off the field in San Luis Obispo last year. There's nothing that leads me to believe that he won't. He's a guy that comes into work. He asks questions. He texts you, hey, what time tomorrow? What time can I make it? Are you going to be in this time? Are you going to be here? Can I stop and see you? He's the type of guy you really enjoy working with. And I expect big things from him. He's a good leader. He's a good worker. And you hate to see, we kind of go as he goes. So we need to keep him healthy. We need to keep him progressing, keep his feet underneath him, all those types of things. But we feel pretty good about that. I think the big thing there is obviously creating depth. We can't fall off if there's a situation that develops at quarterback, and whether it's Ryan Bartles who's played for us or whether it's Brad Heidelbaugh who's yet to get his feet wet. But as a young man, I really like his brain. I really like his mind. He's proven that he gets you into the right play. It's just now about finishing it. And he tells me he's improved. Keaton tells me he's improved. And just like I said, as you, not to be a broken record, but I'm anxious to watch tomorrow to see how much we have improved. So before I turn it over, is there any questions offensively speaking? Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Paul. Next up is Shawn Kostich. Coach Kostich coordinates our special teams.
I appreciate getting the opportunity to speak about the kicking game, and I don't have as many people as been discussed previously, but I'll talk about a few personnel guys. We return a couple players as specialists that have 2 years of playing experience. Jacob Holman will continue to be our primary snapper. Reed Taubenheim will continue to serve as both our field goal and our kickoff kicker. And then we will continue to have an ongoing competition at the punter position. There's 3 individuals there. Jacob Meeks comes from Northeast Mississippi Community College. He came at semester time, and he's actually been working with the team for a few months now. Connor Bolduck played for our team in 2014. He's now back with us. And then Austin Dusold is from Farmington, Missouri. He actually came in the summertime, and he just arrived on campus. And we understand it's not common for teams to bring 3 punters into camp, but we feel that we need to have some competition there. Field position is a huge part of our style of play. We've always believed that punt is the most important special team. It's the only offensive football play where you can consistently get 40 yards. And we were able to net that last season, but that team's really not here anymore. And that's going to be a big message to our guys as we have to rebuild that coverage unit, that shield, and that punter. So we have to try to maintain the standard. Some things to improve upon. We're going to meet with our players at 4 o'clock, and we're going to discuss some things that we've got to get better at. And I think number one is we have to keep training new returners. Josh Seibel did a really good job for us last year. When you pick up the stat book, there's certain things that tell you how a team performs week to week. But then there's things in the stat book that really don't tell the story. There's nothing that says a punter did a really good job of not letting the ball hit the ground, or reading it when he's backed up and letting it fly into the end zone. And those are things he saved us a lot of yards on. And it's my understanding that we'll get him back at some point, but it's unlikely to be the first game, so there's a possibility that we will see a younger guy contribute in that area. We've got number 2, work to eliminate penalties. Our first year we had 9 penalties in the kicking game, which is less than 1 a game. That's kind of where you want to be, but Last season we had 13, and the majority of them were procedure issues, holding on returns, and great football teams just have to have better discipline than that. So we're going to do a better job as coaches in camp when we have those penalties, calling them out. We don't want one guy to destroy the work of 10 and make sure we don't take big plays off the board. And then finally, we want to continue to stress the importance of special teams to our newcomers. I think the majority of the core guys that have been with us for 2 years now and been with this staff are really bought in, but our incoming guys need to buy in as well. We're afforded a lot of time on special teams. If you just go through our daily schedule at 8 a.m., we start with a special teams meeting that's 15 minutes long. And then we have a 10-minute walkthrough. We have anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes of practice time on special teams. And then at 4:45 in the evenings, we get another half hour to talk about the kicking game, review what happened that day, and discuss what we need to do moving forward. So, most programs aren't willing to invest that type of time into the kicking game, but when you're building a program, which is what we're still trying to do here, it's a game, it's a part of the game where you can really get an edge. And if we want to be successful, I think we just believe we have to do the little things better than everybody else. So, I'd encourage you guys to come out and watch. I'm happy to be a part of a program that openly invites the media and our fans to practice. And what we get out of it as coaches, it really does help our players. We just feel that, when more people are watching, it's just human nature. You'll have a little bit more focus. You give a little more effort to the cause. So as much help as we can get from our contributors, we just appreciate that. So thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, guys. That's all we have from the football coaches as far as a formal program here. Paul, you coming back up here to?
I think we're just going to break.
We're going to break from here?
Yes.
I get to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks again, everybody, for coming. We are sure excited to get started, and fall camp is a big deal to us, and we're really focused on practice number 1. Tomorrow, I believe we're on the field at 8:30 with some walkthrough and stuff like that. 8:50 will be period 1. We're planning on going about 21 5-minute periods, so we'll go roughly till 11 o'clock. Thanks again, and the coaches will be around for any of you to meet with starting right now. Thanks.